Dear body, you and I have a tenuous relationship. In our younger years, before stress and fear clouded our lives, we craved adventure and excitement to help us thrive. Your knees were skinned from childhood games and bruises from football that were well worth the pain. Every blemish came with a story to tell, and though I was young and reckless, you always treated me well. But as you continued to grow, inside I felt small. These other bodies were bigger and stronger and tall. They towered over us like we were foreigners in a new and scary city with skyscrapers, and we were lost in their shadows. You grew big and strange and strong, and I just felt small and weak and wrong. These bigger people with bigger bodies said such terrible words. Your hands would cover your ears and hope they wouldn't be heard, but they'd slip through your fingers and sing in the back of my mind, unwinding, intertwining until I came to find that I started to believe them. They called you wrong and bad and sad, and there was no relief then when I started to believe them. The bruises came from other bodies now. They called me out, fists balled up in such fury and rage that at such a young and fragile age, the only way to make sense of these consistent incidents was to admit something to myself. They had to be right, and I had to be wrong. My body was wrong, and the skin I was in was fundamentally flawed. Body, you became my enemy. For a long time after that, you weren't a friend to me, but an adversary. I let these horrible things change and twist me until even I was insisting that you weren't on my side. I thought you had betrayed me. I hated you because I thought you hated me. I kept you full of food and drink to keep you satisfied in hopes you wouldn't fight back in this war. I kept you inside because I thought the outside world deserved more. If you were my enemy, I had to keep you chained. You were a beast that I had to lock away. As you continued to grow, the bruises and pain ceased, at least in the way you were used to. These other bodies realized your frame had grown too large for them to hurt you. You put on so much weight because the pain inside you had made you swell so greatly. As I continued to hate me, they realized they couldn't hurt you anymore. Not physically. If my enemy couldn't be hurt, they'd have to come after me. They started to tell me of a life that could be more. If I just changed my body, the girls I yearned for would look at me, not through me. They said if I changed how I looked, then my life would simply be good. They said your body is a source of what vexes you, what wrecks you. If you were wrong, I had to correct you. I started to work hard, eat well, run yards, run like hell, sweat hard, run far, don't kill the beast but let it starve, jog miles, climb hills, fight hard, don't lose your will, watch every bite and every sip, count every calorie that hits your lips, run from anxiety, run from fear, every single day for years. The bruises that started to come now were mine. Small scars in the same parts of my thighs so no one could tell where they'd been burned. Couldn't kill the beast, but I made it hurt. Body, no one knew about any of this. All they saw was how good you looked and well you dressed when you wore that tie and vest that showed off your figure, or that two-piece suit that made you walk with charisma. Everyone called you beautiful, but you weren't perfect. I worked so hard, but after this time, it still didn't feel worth it. It took until one night in the end of October, when I was at my worst and I thought it was over, to make me feel inside that the only way to calm my mind was to kill the beast. And I fucking tried. At 4 in the morning, I stood over the sink and I looked in the mirror as I started to think, and there, in my reflection, was my enemy, standing there, staring again at me. The unmistakable look in your eyes, my eyes, begging me to find a better way. Your eyes, my eyes. Your eyes are my eyes. I always liked my eyes. They're not perfect, but they work fine. They're not perfect, but they're mine. And if my eyes can be fine with not being perfect, why can't I? I didn't go through with it that night. I decided to speak up, to stand up and fight, and to yell and to scream that my body was right and it always had been despite all their lies. Dear body, I'm sorry. I let myself be swept up in all the media's crap and deceit. They told me there was only one way to see, that thin is beauty and fat's tragedy. The truth is, and always has been, being me is the only thing I've ever needed to be. You've always had my back, quite literally. And we work together as a team to make a stronger and bolder human being. Our bodies are constantly changing, our cells rearranging in different forms and shapes like ocean waves moving in tides from the moon. There's more change coming soon, and though those thoughts used to fill me with fear, I know the man who sits before you right here. I'm not perfect in any sense of the word, but I'm something unique in this huge universe. And though I'm still kind of struggling with my sanity, those flaws are what give us all our humanity. My skin has stretch marks and I'm covered in scars, but those are symbols that show the world I've come far. My weight fluctuates and I've struggled so long, but that'll never mean that my body is wrong. I feel insecure if I don't look my best, but that doesn't mean that I'm worth any less. And yes, I know that I've been through hell, but I sit here and promise that I will love myself. And now I dedicate my life and my time to teaching people one simple rhyme. Adore who you are regardless of size, and fuck anybody who says otherwise. If you're tall or short, if you're fat or thin, you deserve to love the body you're in. That was a really personal story. I've had kind of an intense series of videos lately. I've been working on that writing piece for a while, and I wanted to share it because I thought the full story was important. You know, there were some things in that I hadn't really told people on the internet before. So yeah, I think that was enough intense stuff for one video. Okay, I'll see you guys.